And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has said that European Union leaders are preparing a new sanctions package against Russia, and he emphasized that it must focus on tightening pressure on Moscow's energy sector. Speaking after meeting Cypriot President Nikos in Kyiv, Zelenskyy noted that the measures should target everything that fuels Russia's budget and enables it to continue the war. He also expects Cyprus to support common European decisions on frozen Russian assets, as Cyprus will hold the rotating presidency of the Council of the European Union from January 1, 2026 to June 30, 2026. Let's listen to what President Zelenskyy said.
Зараз готують лідери Європейського Союзу новий санкційний пакет. Ми хочемо зробити його справді дієвим, а це означає продовження тиску на російський енергетичний сектор передусім, на все те інше, що дає Росії бюджетні надходження, а отже можливість затягувати цю війну. Ми розраховуємо на підтримку Кіпром спільних європейських рішень щодо російських активів. Це абсолютно справедливий принцип, що Росія повинна платити за війну, яку сама ж почала та яку продовжує. Кошти, які потрібні для оборони та для відновлення після російських ударів, цілком справедливо взяти з тих обсягів, які сам агресор залишив в руках вільного світу.
And let's welcome Alison Mutler, who is the former AP bureau chief in Romania, joins us live from Bucharest. Thank you, Alison, for joining us once again here at NewsX World, and we do appreciate you taking time out to speak to us. Alison, Zelensky's comments are coming, to target Russia's energy sector. In fact, European Union is almost finalizing a deal on phasing out Russian gas imports as well. And this is crucial here because Putin is right now in India, which happens to be a key importer of Russian oil and gas. Where does this leave Russia in the entire geopolitical scenario amidst all these contexts?
Well, obviously, Vladimir Putin, Russia is reaching out to all the markets he can get, and India is a very big market. But Europe, which has been the strongest critic of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, has still been quite dependent on Russian, particularly Russian fossil fuels. So this new act is very important. It currently gets 19% of its fuel from Russia, but that is going to be phased out until 2027. There's still Europe is still pretty dependent, but it's phasing that out gradually and weaning itself off Russian gas. It's a political, but it's also an economic move to stop. One of the key ways that Russia is paying for its hostilities in Ukraine, but it's also a political step to show that Europe wants to break away from dependency on Russian gas and other fuels.
Alison, do stay on. There are some more inputs we're getting. Viewers, the United Kingdom has unveiled sweeping new sanctions against Russia moments after Security Minister Dan Harris addressed Parliament on the findings of the public inquiry into the 2018 Novichok poisoning. Now, Harris said the inquiry makes clear that President Putin bears moral responsibility for the attack that killed British citizen Don Sturgess. Let's listen in to what the UK Security Minister had to say.
The inquiry has found that those who were involved in the assassination attempt against Sergei Skripal were morally responsible for Dawn's death, and that deploying a highly toxic nerve agent in a busy city was an astonishingly reckless act. The Chair concludes that the operation must have been signed off at the highest level of the Russian state, including President Putin. Dawn Sturgess was the victim of an utterly reckless and dangerous act, a chemical weapons attack perpetrated by Russia on British soil. The pain and suffering it has caused can never be underdone. But we must honour Dawn Sturgess's memory, uphold truth and justice, and keep everyone in our country safe.
In response, the government has sanctioned the entire GRU military intelligence service, 8 cyber officers and 3 additional GRU operatives accused of hostile activity across Europe and Ukraine. The Russian ambassador has also been summoned to the Foreign Office to account for what the UK calls Moscow's ongoing campaign of aggression. Prime Minister Keir Starmer says the findings highlight the Kremlin's disregard for innocent lives. And I'd request Alison to join us back in the discussion here. Alison, how do you view the developments, first of all?
Well, first of all, this attack in 2018, which is 4 years before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, did send shockwaves through Britain, that this innocent woman who was in quite a vulnerable position, she'd been given some perfume, I think, by her boyfriend that he'd found in a garbage bin, and it contained Novichok, and she died. It was absolutely shocking, particularly when that was aimed at a Russian agent that had fallen foul of the Kremlin, of Vladimir Putin, and the fact that it took place, as it was, the comment said, on British soil, I think outraged people even further. But the British government, the British authorities, have undertaken a painstaking inquiry. It's taken 2008, that's taken 8 years or 7 years to be concluded. And so it's been concluded without a shadow of a doubt that such an operation carried out by GRU, that is the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, on British soil, was done deliberately and was done brazenly and was done to show that Russia can do this. And as a result, also because of what's happening in Ukraine, that the full sanctions have been laid on GRU and its agents, and they've actually identified them. I mean, even at the time there was CCTV footage of the 2 men. I remember walking through London and Salisbury where it happened. But there was a great deal of outrage at the time that Russia would undertake such a brazen act, and that was before the invasion of Ukraine. So relations weren't great, but they weren't as bad as they are now.
Right, Alison, I'll have to let you go with that. We have some pressing developments now also coming in from Brazil, but thanks for your comment there. Viewers, Israel has launched a new wave of airstrikes on southern Lebanon.